easier for us to tell people that conservation doesn't have borders, and these are natures that like link us, that connect us within the world.
Hello, my name is Sacha Dench, but I'm better known as the Human Swan. I'm also the UN's ambassador for the Convention on Migratory Species. This year, the charity I founded, Conservation Without Borders, is launching a new expedition to follow the flight of the Osprey, an epic migration of 10,000 kilometres through 14 countries from Europe to West Africa. As a part of this, we're doing a series of podcasts to highlight the global stories and connections this bird makes, to help us see our complex and challenged world through the eyes of this incredible animal. In this episode, we speak to Awa about breaking down stereotypes to make it as a young woman in conservation, and how joining the flight of the Osprey expedition showed her how a bird can bring together countries and cultures for a common purpose. Hello, Awa. Very nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Do you remember the moment in your childhood when you first thought, I want to work in conservation?
To be honest with you, conservation was, just as I always say, it's not a thing that is common in the Gambia where young people build the idea of becoming conservationists, because conservation knowledge is very low in the Gambia. So I actually didn't grow up like thinking about conservation. When I was young, all my aim and what I wanted to be was a doctor. But as I grow also, like, people's comment matters a lot in our life. People started telling me that this science field is very difficult. You won't be able to make it. So before I went to high school, I started developing the concept that it's difficult. And I decided to change my field, even though since I was young, I like asking a lot of questions and stuff. And everybody thinks that I will be a journalist. And at the end of the day, I was introduced to one of my friends in this conservation field, which was in 2019. I was always a curious person. Whatever I see people doing, I want to know a lot about it. Yeah, I ask a lot of questions, and I want to move also. Movement was like, I don't love sitting in one place and seeing the same thing every day. This was things that I see as a boring thing, and I just don't love that.
You have a curious mind.
Yes, I have a very curious mind. So when like my friend introduced me to this conservation, yeah, I was a WABSA volunteer, and in 2019 we had trainers from UK, couples who came here to train about ringing. So when I went to that ringing, actually it was my first time waking up every day at that time, moving like about more than 10 kilometers, I can say. Ringing is so nice, and I think I need to do a lot more about conservation. After doing that, I was actually, after the exam, it was over 50, and I was able to score 47 over 50. So they were very much proud of me, my participations. They were impressed. And when I come back, I was like, okay, I think I need to venture into conservation. I have been praying to be in a walk where I will be moving and seeing things and understanding why nature exists and how does it exist. And I think this is an opportunity that I will never play with. I will take everything. Yes. So this is how I came into conservation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did your parents first think when they got this idea that might be what you were thinking of as a career?
Yes. My mom, they always want me to be a teacher. And just as I said, it's boring. I don't want to be in the same class for years. I don't want that. I want to move. So they don't know about conservation, and they don't see it as something that is important. And you see, when you learn, you go to school, everybody thinks that you should be in the office or wearing nice clothes and going to work. And that was different for me. You know, I am always defensive when it comes to what I want to do. I am a very strong-headed somebody. So I was able to come through that. They were not in support of that. They were like, oh, what are you doing? They would just come and ask, what are you doing? We still don't know what you're doing.
Even now, they don't understand what you're doing?
They were not in support of it at the beginning, but when they know that they know who I am, and I am always constant on whatever I am doing. I mean it, and I do it with all what I have. So they were like, okay, hence that is what you want to do. We will support you. But
I wonder if you can explain what the difficulties are, not just with your parents, but for a young woman in the Gambia who wants to get into conservation and the practicalities of that.
Yes, there are a lot of challenges. One is, you know, when you're doing some things that is unique, people don't tend to know the importance. Like the knowledge of conservation is not something that is vast in the Gambia. I can say maybe about 1 or 2% of the population understand it. Even going to our government level, like even our representative and the decision-making table, I will say they do not respect it to the way it deserves, because if it was known, they will not be compromising like the natural areas too, like just for infrastructure. Conservation deserves more than that. And another one, the concept is, okay, you have been to school, you need to be wearing nice clothes, not going to the field, entering like in the bushes, forest, and doing all stuff. They see it as you are not in the right field, you were not even, like you don't graduate with good results, or you were just a stupid person. They just see you as a loser, definitely. Especially like when you are a girl child doing that. Sometimes they will tell you that you like doing what men do, yes. That like the knowledge about conservation is not well known in the Gambia is a challenge, and people seeing it as someone who is not educated or is not the best, is not the ideal field for like people who were sent to school to do. And another one is culture and religion also is a problem. And sometimes they think that women should be in the house taking care, giving birth to children and taking care of them, when I always say that we can do better than that. Yeah.
Right. And how does that look for you? I mean, would people judge you for what you're doing, for when they see you out with your binoculars dressed up for work in the field?
The first thing they do is they laugh at me. Yes, they still laugh at me. And I think this is what keeps me stronger now, seeing that it's unique and not knowing the importance of nature, not only birds, because when we say bird, it's just a small sector when it comes to nature, but nature is something big that I want to know a lot about, but even if I can know everything, but I know it's not possible. So, but I also want to bring other things. So people always laugh at me, saying that it's not important. Why should I be following birds? And yes, just wasting a lot of time on the field just to do bird watching. They don't know the importance of birds, so they always laugh at me.
And in terms of going up the ladder in conservation, or even in a science field, I suppose, is there any issues with the women being able to be the boss of men, or is that completely fine?
And this one also can be another problem of like religion and culture. They believe that men should be decision makers. Yes, sometimes you see women in the higher rank, but I can say less than a 10%, especially in conservation. You will see directors and all other stuff. People will be conservation, be like men. So seeing a small number of women in the field also is a challenge, and having the opportunities, because sometimes women can stand for women, but even if the women are not in support of that, it is always very difficult for you to do things, to make changes. No matter how strong you are, you still need people behind you. So sometimes taking this, like being in the higher rank, can be a problem, but we're still working to make a change. And yeah, thank God I am in an organization where men are very much supportive. I can't thank them enough. They give me the opportunities and they're always there for me.
Yeah, so I was going to ask that. Do you feel, obviously in your close circle, there are men who are very supportive of women doing things. Do you feel like in the Gambia in general that could be changing? Are the younger generation, for example, more supportive of women in conservation?
Actually, saying about my organization, I think what I always say is we have the best organization in the Gambia. to me, because when I was coming here, I actually don't know anything about conservation, but they're always here to coach me. They're always here to, whenever they see opportunities, I am always there, being the fact that I am very much committed in what I am doing, and I really love that. I understand that when you are committed and love what you are doing, it will be easier for people to help you, and they also enjoy helping you. So it doesn't really mean that you need to be a man to do something, to participate in development. As far as men and women are created, I believe we were created for a reason. So we are equal when it comes to development. Me, I believe that I can do what men can do. Even I can do better because I am doing what other men cannot do. Yes. And also making a change in the Gambia. I think in life, nothing is impossible, depending on the belief and mindsets that we have. So today, I can say I am already a role model to some people, because I can give in a reference on the last program that we were. After that, people were like reaching out to me, calling me, okay, congratulations. People were like, I look up to you. So I believe that I am already making a change, and I always use any opportunity that I have to make sure I talk to young people and explain them the importance of nature also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say that whilst we were traveling through Gambia, you managed to get the kind of kids who were mobbing our vehicles talking about and excited about everything from ospreys to climate change. I couldn't understand most of it, but I could understand the English words that are being used.
Yes.
And they were kind of wide-eyed with excitement. And then one of the kids went and got paper so he could come and write notes. Exactly. And you have a bit of a skill with getting young people inspired. What do you think is your secret?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I am not someone who is always stressing out. When you see me, the second thing that you see is my teeth. I am always open and laughing, and I know I talk a lot. So it is very important to be someone who communicates with people, who is down to earth, who can always be in any zone that you are. You try to adapt the style that people are living with, and to make sure you are one like them. And adaptation is very important. And also, I have been into the Red Cross and other social organizations, and I have been into activism. So I came across a lot of people with different, like intergenerational, being men, women, old. So I understand a lot about human being right now, and I know how to work with people, especially when you meet them at the first time. So socialization is not a problem for me.
No, absolutely. And so do you feel like in Gambia in general, like people of all ages, including decision makers, I know you made a comment that in some circumstances you feel some pretty bad decisions were made, but do you feel like in general things are going in a positive direction? Conservation is getting a higher standing?
But like young people are not given the opportunity to speak out. But right now we have young people who are doing these environmental organizations and stuff. So they are learning more about conservation. And I know maybe in years' time, things are it is gradually changing, but we still need more impact, more especially in the decision-making table, because we are here to advocate, we are here to like push policies, but we are not policy makers. So representation at the decision-making table is still a problem, but young people are like starting, if I can know a little and share with my colleague and others share with their colleagues, I think with this, we can change things gradually. And in the future, I think we will have good representative in the decision-making table.
Well, I mean, just speaking to you fires me up, and I've been in this game for a long time, so I'm sure you're having an impact already. Can I ask, related to that question then, if you had, say, 3 wishes, things that you would like to change in the Gambia, what would they be?
First of all, I would like to change the mindset that people have about conservation, because I think all the problem bounce back to the mindset that people see us as like losers. So first of all, I will change the mindset of people. Empowerment is also a problem, because we understand that lack of employment, underemployment, and unemployment is also a problem. Knowing how vulnerable conservation is, and it should be a field where Gambia is a very low populated country, I can say about 2 million young people. So looking at the vegetation of the Gambia was supposed to be at least 50%. It could be able to employ the young people in the Gambia in one way or the other. We see entertainment industry, tourism industry, and all other stuff. So if employment also, when I change the concept about people, I will tell them to learn to understand about the importance of conservation, and which deals with empowerment and employment, and also decision makers. I would definitely do all what it takes to make sure that we are represented well. Because if I do all that, but still now our representatives are not the best representatives, we will still encounter a lot of challenges. So I would definitely need that, like, I will do all what it takes to make sure we have correct representation at the decision-making table for conservation to deserve what it have what it deserves to make this world a better place for us. Yes.
And going back to Ospreys for a moment, obviously your time, you and Fa, were incredible for us in helping us to kind of understand the situation in the Gambia, introducing us to different areas and things. And the Gambia is really important for Ospreys. Can I ask, as a first question, what how beneficial do you think the Osprey is as a, maybe as even as a symbol for conservation?
Driving over 10 countries to reach the Gambia. Wherever I say it, people will be like, hey, those people drive all the way from UK to the, yes, they were following a bird named Osprey. So them seeing that, they will understand that actually this is the reason, what is special about this bird, which make people drive all the way from Europe to Africa. So it can be a symbol, and it is easier for us to tell people that conservation doesn't have borders, and these are natures that like link us, that connect us within the world.
Fabulous. And as a last question then, we're obviously going to make a film about the journey of the Osprey through all the different countries. Can you see, or how could you see that film being useful, being used in the Gambia to help drive conservation?
I think if we can have the opportunity, like television's playing it and on social media, it is going to be very useful. And also using online platforms like WhatsApp and stuff. I know if they could see me, if they will be seeing me, they will be like, oh, you are also doing this. Yeah, it can be another advantage. And I will also use that as a tool to do more advocacy on conservation, bird, Osprey, and Sacha and Hattie.
Thank you very much indeed. And fingers crossed we'll be back in the Gambia with the film in a few months' time.
Okay. Yeah, I will be looking forward. Even if I was to give up in the conservation field, I will not do it, because looking at like your condition, and you were not like this, but due to conservation, you encounter a lot of problems, and if you are someone, you can say, okay, I am giving up on conservation. I am losing more than what conservation is giving me. But looking at the lives that you are saving, the impacts that you are making in the world, you live all the way from UK, come to the Gambia, and inspire me. Even the fact that I was still there is incredible, and I look a lot upon you, honestly, to keep it up.
Well, thank you. I think you probably inspire me just as much. There's challenges that if you've got the kind of power to soldier on and do something that you're really passionate about, even if there are challenges, then it kind of says something. Yeah. Great. Thanks very much.